Billions of years ago, a race of immortal beings learned how to harness the green energy of willpower. They created a planet called Oa, a place from where they could watch over the entire universe. They divided the universe into 3,600 sectors and sent a powerful green ring to each one. These rings had a mind of their own. They would choose their wearer, and it was believed that a ring only chose someone who was truly fearless. The 3,600 warriors chosen by these rings formed a powerful peacekeeping force, known as the Green Lantern Corps. Over time, the Corps faced many threats, but the most terrifying of them all was the embodiment of fear itself, Parallax. He was so dangerous that only one great Green Lantern, Abon Sur, was able to capture him. Parallax was imprisoned in a remote, abandoned sector of the universe. But then, everything changed. We are taken to that forbidden sector, where a ship carrying 3 lanterns suddenly crashes. They send a distress signal to Oa, but before help can arrive, the ground beneath them breaks open, and they fall straight into the prison where Parallax was held. Terrified, their fear becomes their weakness. Parallax feeds on that fear, drains all their energy, and finally, breaks free. Now the story shifts to Earth. The year is 1993. We see a young boy named Hal Jordan running toward an airbase early in the morning, because today, his father Martin Jordan is testing a new fighter jet, the Mark III. Hal reaches him and excitedly says he wants to watch the test flight. His father smiles, gives him permission, and even hands him his jacket saying, "Take care of this." Moments later, Martin takes off. Everything seems perfect. He even gives a thumbs up, but suddenly, the engine catches fire. The jet goes out of control. People start running in panic. Martin struggles, fights with everything he has, and somehow manages to land the plane safely. Hal runs toward him, but then the plane explodes. This tragedy leaves a deep scar on Hal, and from that moment he decides he will become a pilot, just like his father. Back in the present day, we see Abin Sur again. He learns that Parallax has already destroyed 2 planets, draining all life energy and becoming even more powerful. Suddenly, Parallax attacks his ship. Abin Sur tries to fight back, but Parallax is now too strong. He gets badly injured and is forced to escape. Before losing strength, he contacts Oa and tells them he's heading to the nearest planet, Earth, so that his ring can find a new bearer. Meanwhile, Hal Jordan is now all grown up and one of the best test pilots out there. Just like his father, he takes his job seriously. Today is a big day. His company is trying to secure a massive government contract for advanced fighter jets powered by artificial intelligence, jets that don't even need pilots, and Hal is chosen to test them. But Hal doesn't believe in this idea. He thinks no machine can ever outmatch the human mind. The test begins. At first, Hal underestimates the AI jets, but they are incredibly advanced. Every time he tries to attack, they dodge him effortlessly. The company officials are impressed. But Hal isn't done yet. He pushes the jets higher into extreme altitudes, where the pressure starts affecting their systems. One by one, both AI jets begin to fail. But at the same time, Hal's own jet starts malfunctioning too. Still, he regains control and destroys both AI jets. But then, he notices something, a photo of his father inside the cockpit. Suddenly, memories come rushing back. The crash, the explosion, he loses focus, the jet goes out of control. But just before impact, he ejects. He survives. But when he returns, everyone is furious because he just destroyed their most advanced jet and lost them the contract. They're ready to fire him on the spot, but Carol, his childhood friend, steps in and stops them. Still, she looks at Hal and says, "You're suspended until the investigation is complete." After everything that happened, Hal heads back home because today is his nephew's birthday. But the moment he walks in, his brothers are furious. They've already seen the news about the crash. Jake looks at him and says, "You're so obsessed with becoming like Dad that you want to die like him too." Hal responds calmly, "This is my job." Trying to avoid the tension, he walks over to Jason. The kid looks scared, shaken by everything, comforts him, and hands him his birthday gift. But at the same time, something unbelievable is happening. Abin Sur's spaceship crashes onto Earth. With his last bit of strength, he tells his ring, "Go and find someone worthy." The ring releases a burst of green energy, searching for someone with strong willpower. And that energy finds Hal Jordan. It merges into him, but Hal has no idea. As soon as he steps outside his house, a green aura suddenly surrounds him, forming a protective sphere, and lifts him straight into the sky. Within seconds, he's taken to the crash site. Hal sees the destroyed spaceship and rushes toward it. Inside, Abin Sur is taking his final breaths. Hal pulls him out. "My name is Abin Sur, protector of Sector 2814. The ring has chosen you." He tells Hal, "Take this ring, place it before the lantern, and take the oath. Only then will the power become yours. You will become the protector of this world." Hal tries to save him, but it's too late. Abin Sur dies. Shocked, Hal calls his friend Thomas to the location. When Thomas arrives and sees the alien ship, he's completely freaked out. Hal quickly explains, that alien is dead. He gave me this ring and lantern, said I'm supposed to protect the world. But then, they hear something approaching, military helicopters. The government already knows an alien ship has crashed on Earth. Without wasting a second, Hal and Thomas leave the scene. Soon after, the military secures the area. They recover Abin Sur's body and bring in a scientist, Hector Hammond, a xenobiologist. Hector begins his examination, but when he studies the wound, something strange happens. A small fragment of Parallax's energy was left inside Abin Sur's body, and now that energy transfers into Hector. He doesn't realize it yet, but something inside him has changed. After completing his report, he hands everything over to Amanda Waller. Meanwhile, Hal reaches home with the lantern. He puts on the ring and tries to remember what Abin Sur told him. He tries again and again, but nothing happens. Frustrated, he shouts, "You came all this way, chose me out of billions. Then help me, let me help people." And suddenly the lantern reacts. Its power awakens. Hal's eyes glow green as he begins to speak the oath. "I shine in the light of will, burning bright against the dark, a force of good against all evil. This power will never fade, because I am Green Lantern." The moment he finishes, power surges through him, and before he can even process it, the energy launches him into space, straight to Oa. Because the Lantern Corps has sensed it, Abin Sur's ring has chosen a human. Hal is brought there to be trained to become a Green Lantern. We see his body being scanned. As the ring uploads knowledge and power into him, a suit forms around him. A mask appears on his face. He looks at himself amazed. And that's when another lantern approaches him, a strange being, almost fish-like in appearance. He says, "My name is Tomar Ree, protector of Sector 2813. I've been sent to bring you in. You are the first human ever chosen." He takes Hal outside and shows him Oa, a world far beyond imagination. Advanced, powerful, unlike anything Hal has ever seen. Tomar Ree explains, "Since the beginning of time, the Green Lantern Corps has protected the universe, maintaining peace, order, and justice, and being part of it is a great honor." Then he says, "Come, it's time to attend the assembly." They fly together and arrive at a massive gathering. Hal looks around completely stunned, because standing there are all 3,600 Green Lanterns. And just then, a powerful figure makes his entrance. Sinestro, the leader of the Green Lantern Corps. He looks at everyone and says, "Parallax is becoming a serious threat. He has already destroyed multiple planets, and now the Guardians have given me permission to lead an attack and destroy him." Meanwhile, Tomar Ree begins training Hal. He explains, "With the power of will, you can create anything you imagine in real form, but for that, you must learn to focus." He asks Hal to try. Hal concentrates, and suddenly, he starts creating multiple constructs, rings, shapes, energy forms. That's when Kilowog shows up. He says, "I'm gonna train you how to fight." Without warning, he attacks Hal. Hal quickly creates shields and constructs, blocking his attacks using pure imagination. But Kilowog lands a heavy hit, sending Hal flying. Then, Kilowog raises the intensity. He uses the force of a star, simulating the gravity of the sun. Hal starts getting pulled in. Kilowog shouts, "The gravity of a sun will crush you. The bigger you are, the faster you die." Just then, Sinestro steps in. He looks at Hal and says, "One weak soldier makes the entire Corps weak, and I hate weakness." A fight begins between them, but Sinestro is on another level. No matter what Hal tries, he keeps losing. Sinestro stops and says, "You're afraid, and fear weakens will." Then he brutally attacks him again and says, "Abin Sur was a great warrior. You wearing his ring is an insult to his legacy." Those words hit Hal hard. He feels broken. He tells Kilowog, "I'm not worthy of this ring. I can't protect the universe." Tomar Ree steps in and calmly says, "If there was nothing special about you, the ring would never have chosen you. It saw something in you, something even you can't see yet." But Hal shakes his head. This time, the ring made a mistake. And just like that, he leaves Oa and returns to Earth. Meanwhile, Sinestro leads an elite team to confront Parallax, but they are no match. Parallax has grown far too powerful. Their attacks do nothing. One by one, his entire team is wiped out. Sinestro barely survives and returns to the Guardians. He tells them, "I saw it with my own eyes." He creates fear in even the bravest warriors and then destroys them. "Tell me, what are you hiding from me?" The Guardians finally reveal the truth. "When we saw that the power of will was fading, we began to argue among ourselves. One of us decided to harness the yellow power of fear. They tried to stop him, but he refused and entered the Forbidden Chamber. He believed he could control fear itself, but instead, fear consumed him. He became the very evil he wanted to destroy, Parallax." They explain, Abin Sur managed to imprison him on the planet Ryut, but now he has grown stronger, feeding on the energy of living beings. He seeks revenge and wants to destroy everything. Sinestro responds, "Then we must fight fear with fear. We need to create a yellow ring, because only fear can defeat fear." And this time, the Guardians agree. Back on Earth, Ferris Aircraft celebrates a big win. They've secured the government contract. To celebrate, they throw a grand party. Hal, Carol, and Hector are all invited. At the party, Hector starts talking to Carol. They used to be childhood friends. He tells her, "I'm not just an ordinary guy anymore. I was part of the team that examined that alien." But someone else hears this. His father, Senator Hammond. He walks up, puts a hand on Hector's shoulder and says, "I told you to keep this confidential, but you never listen, do you?" Those words trigger something inside Hector. Anger, rage, something dark. As the senator leaves in his helicopter, Hector uses his telekinetic powers and attacks the rotor. The helicopter loses control and starts crashing right toward the crowd. Panic breaks out. People start running, but then a green streak appears in the sky. Hal, as Green Lantern, he creates a massive energy construct, a racetrack-like structure, and safely guides the falling helicopter down, saving everyone. And in that moment, the world realizes something incredible. A superhero exists. Later that night, we see Hector again, but something is wrong. The fragment of parallax inside him starts taking control. It begins influencing his mind, whispering to him, "Green Lantern is a threat. Kill Hal Jordan." And just like that, Hector turns into Hal's enemy. The next day, the senator calls Hector back to the lab. They've discovered the truth. Hector has been infected by the parallax energy. His father tries to calm him down. "We can fix this. We can help you." But Hector doesn't want to be fixed. He likes the power. Suddenly, he attacks his own father. Doctors rush in and manage to sedate him. But when Hector wakes up, he finds himself tied down. As the scientists begin testing him, he snaps. Using his telekinetic powers, he breaks free and attacks everyone in the lab. He even ties his own father to a table, because now he sees him as an enemy too. Security tries to stop him, but Hector kills them all. And that's when Hal arrives. Hector immediately attacks him. Hal dodges and fights back using his constructs, but Hector is too powerful. Hal can't keep up. He gets hit and crashes to the ground, injured. Hector walks toward him and says, "Now, no one can stop me." And then he does the unthinkable. He burns his own father alive. Hal tries to save him, but he's too late. Desperate, Hal touches his ring to Hector's head. Instantly, he connects directly to Parallax. Parallax speaks, "You wear the ring of Aben Sur, the one who imprisoned me. You will die, but first, I will destroy your world. And when I do, I will become even more powerful." The energy blast throws Hector back, giving Hal a chance to escape. Meanwhile, on Oa, the Guardians have done it. They've created a yellow ring, a weapon powered by fear. Sinestro says, "Once we master this power, we will train new soldiers. But Earth cannot be saved." Just then, Hal arrives. He steps forward and says, "You can't use this weapon. If you give in to fear, you'll lose everything you stand for. Stand with me. We can stop Parallax with willpower." The Guardians hesitate. Then they reply, "You may be right, but we cannot risk everything on hope alone." Hal looks at them and says, "Then don't risk anything. Just let me fight for my world, and I'll prove that will is stronger than fear." After a moment, they give him a chance. As Hal heads back to Earth, his ring suddenly starts blinking. A warning, Carol is in danger. Hal rushes to Ferris aircraft. Inside, he sees Hector. Carol is tied up, and Hector is holding a syringe filled with parallax energy. Hector says, "I've always loved Carol, but she never loved me because she loved you. So now, I'll make her like me." He moves to inject her, but Hal stops him. Then Hal does something unexpected. He removes his ring and says, "Don't turn her into you. Become me instead. Take the ring. Let Carol decide." Hector takes it, and the moment he puts it on, he feels powerful. He smirks and says, "I lied." He attacks Hal using the ring's power, but suddenly, the energy backfires. It hits Hector instead, throwing him away. Hal calmly says, "I lied too. This ring only works for the one it chooses. You can't steal its power." Hector crashes hard. Carol starts falling, but Hal catches her just in time, and then everything goes silent, because something massive has arrived. Parallax is here. Hal and Carol quickly hide, knowing this is just the beginning. Parallax looks at Hector and says, "I gave you one simple task, and you couldn't even do that." Without hesitation, he drains Hector's power, absorbing all of it into himself. Hal runs toward Hector, trying to get his ring back, but Parallax notices him. In an instant, he grabs Hal and starts draining his energy too. Hal is helpless, but then Carol jumps into action. She gets into a nearby fighter jet and attacks Parallax. That distraction saves Hal's life. He manages to grab the ring and escapes. Hal quickly gets Carol to safety, but now Parallax begins spreading across the entire city. Carol looks at Hal and says, "You can't stop this. You're going to die." But Hal replies, "The ring chose me for a reason, and I have to protect my world." They share a quiet moment, a hug, before everything goes chaotic again. Parallax descends surrounding the city. People are trapped, and one by one, he starts draining their life energy. And then Hal returns. He attacks with everything he has, creating massive constructs, throwing everything at Parallax. But nothing works. Parallax strikes back, but Hal shields himself with the ring. Then Parallax tries to break him mentally. "You're afraid." But this time, Hal doesn't listen. Instead, he remembers the oath, and with every word, his willpower grows stronger. With one final push, he grabs Parallax and drags him into space. Parallax follows, ready to kill him. And that's when Hal sees it, the sun. He remembers what Kilowog said. The bigger you are, the stronger the sun's gravity pulls you in. Hal gets an idea. He positions himself right in front of the sun. Parallax charges toward him. At the last second, Hal creates a jet construct and dodges out of the way. Parallax tries to pull him back, but Hal doesn't stop. He cancels the jet and with all his strength, throws one final punch, sending Parallax straight into the sun. Engulfed in flames, Parallax is destroyed, but Hal is badly injured, and now he too starts getting pulled toward the sun. He's about to fall into it when suddenly Sinestro arrives and saves him. Later, Hal is honored. Sinestro stands before everyone and says Hal Jordan's victory over Parallax will always be remembered. He reminded us why we were chosen, to stand against evil and protect the universe. Everyone celebrates. But then, we see a post-credit scene. Sinestro stands alone, looking at something powerful, the yellow ring. He slowly puts it on, and his eyes begin to glow yellow. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe for more epic stories, and share it with your friends.